Hey everyone, it's Laura Myers for CMS-Connected at Sitecore Symposium, and I'm joined by Brendan Witcher of Forrester. Thanks so much for sitting down with us.
Well, thanks for having me here today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm very, very excited to have this conversation with you. So we're going to start off with some of the biggest trends that you think are in retail, and I kind of want to discuss it more, how organizations can sometimes spread themselves too thin trying to do everything and keep up. So where do you think that they should really focus their resources?
Well, what's happening today in organizations is they're listening to the media and hearing these big buzzwords like AI and IoT and virtual reality. The reality is nobody's going to walk into a store this year, look around and go, oh, there's no virtual reality. I'm out of here, right? We're not there yet. Organizations today have to focus on really trying to innovate on core things like omnichannel and personalization and digitizing their store experience. I mean, this is where consumers are really having expectations set.
Yeah.
They're looking for cross-channel experiences. They're looking for more personalized, relevant experiences, things that add value to their customer journey. So organizations get too distracted by these shiny objects. It's not that they shouldn't work on them. If they have the time and resources, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
The problem is that it usually distracts them from something else they should be doing. In other words, it's not time to put robots in your store when you can't get out a personalized email.
Yeah,
right?
true.
Right. 136 irrelevant emails to customers is a bad thing, right? So I would say trying to solve customer pain points is where you should put your tech focus on.
Yeah.
So, can you currently deliver on customer expectations? When a customer can't find a size that they need in your store, can you help them with that? Are your associates well equipped to help customers? Do your associates know as much as customers about products and experiences and things like that? So how do you enable things that today the customer is expecting?
Yeah.
Because I think what's really important to remember is it's not really mind-blowing to say, we need to be, we can't be behind the customer. But it's also important to remember you can't be too far ahead of the customer.
Sure.
We all remember beacons a few years ago.
Yeah.
The beacons were going to save the world. No, they didn't save the world. And the reason they didn't save the world is because no one walks around with their phone in front of their face.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Like, it's too far ahead of the customer. This isn't a shopping companion yet, right?
Yeah.
And so it's really important right now to just figure out the things that customers are looking for. Make sure you're delivering on those, but not only that, optimizing for those things.
Yeah.
So if I do buy online, pick up in the store, great web experience. But when I get in the store and I'm standing in line for 10 minutes to pick it up, you can't find my order. They pulled the wrong thing. The store associate was rude to me. These are all problems we need to solve.
Yeah.
And so it's about optimizing the core is really where organizations need to put their focus on right now in 2018.
I definitely agree. And kind of going along the customer obsessed lines, I know a lot of organizations say they're customer obsessed, but then they still have a hard time actually getting there. So what's your advice on really making the bridge to that?
So a lot of companies confuse the idea of customer obsession and company obsession.
Yeah.
Okay? So like I'll come to a website and you recommend a product for me to buy. That's not customer obsession, that's company obsession. Something you want me to do, the organization wants me to do.
Yeah.
Or I'll put something in my cart and for the next 6 months you follow me around the web reminding me, all in my best interest as a consumer that I've left something in my cart.
Yeah.
No, again, that's not customer obsession unless you're a stalker. That's actually company obsession. That's what you want me to do, right? It's about understanding what does it really mean to serve me and add value for me as a consumer who comes to your website, uses your app, goes to the store. What is value to me? That's what customer obsession is. And what a lot of companies have done is they've moved from 2014 to 2018. 2014 is where we really started to hear about customer obsession.
Yeah.
Okay? The problem is that we try to be customer obsessed without learning about the customer.
Yeah.
So the companies that said it back in 2014 said we need to be customer obsessed are now taking a look again and saying, you know what, we got it wrong. We didn't finish the sentence.
Yeah.
To be customer obsessed, we have to be data led. We really need to be able to use data. We need teams that understand data. We need to focus on collecting data about the customer, doing the kinds of things that make us know elements about the customer that to deliver those experiences, we can look back and say this is the basis for that.
Yeah.
Take a company like Fabletics, for example, building a digital dressing room where I have to sign in with my email address and scan the items I'm going to bring in with me to the dressing room. Like that is good strategy for getting data to then be customer obsessed so that post-visit experience for that customer through emails or other things that happen to me digitally are all relevant to me.
Yeah.
Their competitor writes things on a whiteboard. I don't know about you, but I've tried to get data out of a dry eraser and it doesn't really work, right? It's very hard to do.
There's no absorption.
There's really, circulating that into my system is very hard. So, it's really about both parts and pieces.
Yeah.
You need to be customer obsessed, which requires you to be data led. And that means a strategy for data. And that's where companies are mostly failing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a definitely a great answer. Now, the big thing in retail is talking about Amazon, because everybody has the notion that Amazon's winning everything. And so the big question that we often hear is, I'm sure you do as well, how do you suggest that they win against Amazon?
Well, no one's going to win against it. You can't. You can't beat Amazon.
Totally.
First of all, let me just level set with everybody on Amazon for a second. So retail is about $3.4 trillion in business right now.
Yeah.
Of that, about $3 trillion is physical retail. $3 trillion, right? About 88%, right? 400 billion, only 400 billion is e-commerce. So for all the news and headlines e-commerce gets, it's still only 12%.
Yeah.
And by the way, mobile is only 1.7% of commerce, right? And we get all these headlines, we hear about all these digital e-commerce and mobile. They're tiny portions of retail.
Yeah.
Tiny portions. On top of that, you've got Amazon. Yeah, they do own a lot of e-commerce, but they don't own a lot of retail.
Yeah.
I mean, when you remove marketplaces, and I'll tell you why in a minute, why you need to remove marketplaces. When you remove marketplaces, Amazon owns about 2% of retail. 2%. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
It's actually a little, right? And it's mostly in the e-commerce space.
Totally.
Right? They don't own physical retail yet.
Yeah.
So to say that Amazon's winning, I would say, well, that's a stretch. But I would also say, but they're doing a very good job of winning their customer.
Yeah.
Like, they do understand how to win the customer, which is why I'm saying companies cannot win against Amazon. They can't beat Amazon. They need to be more like Amazon.
Yeah.
Take the AT out of that and say, be more like Amazon. And that means adopting a customer-centric focus, adopting long-term vision for your company and your technology investments. Take the Amazon Go store, for example. Right? Amazon started working on Amazon Go in 2012. 2012. They just launched it last year. That is 5 years working on something without any return on investment, without any sort of insights on whether it was going to work or not. 5 years. So if you asked me today, does that mean every retailer is 5 years behind Amazon on that? I'd be like, no, they're more like 10. Because I don't know a retailer with the DNA to work on something for 5 years without a return on investment.
Exactly.
This is what I mean about adopting their mindset, adopting the mindset of what does it mean to be a retailer? It doesn't have to mean what it traditionally has meant.
Yeah.
And so how do we go forward with that? So I would not encourage anybody to try to beat Amazon. You're not going to do that. But I would say, look at your own organization and figure out, what are we doing that is unlike Amazon? Like the data-led thing.
Yeah.
Being data-led. Amazon is extremely data-led, which allows them to be customer obsessed. That's the kind of thing we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. So my last question for you is, when you're talking about organizations wanting to get somewhere but not really knowing how to get there, what do you think typically holds organizations back from being what they really want to be?
Yeah, it's not what you think. Everyone thinks, oh, it's tech. It's actually not tech.
Yeah.
Funny enough, most organizations tell me we have a digital strategy. We know the technologies we need to buy. But 53% of organizations say culture limits their ability to execute the digital strategy. Even worse, 82% of organizations say organizational silos limit their ability to execute the digital strategy. And then again, the same number, 53% say we don't even have the right skill sets to deliver our digital strategy. It's the non-technical elements that usually hold a company back. I've been doing this for a while now. And I've been working with the same companies year after year after year, looking at them, looking at their business, talking to them about what they're doing. And I find that at the beginning of the year, the company is exactly like the end of the year because they have no roadmap. They have no strategy for change management, for understanding what does it mean to move from segmentation to individualization when you're doing personalization. What does it mean to deliver good omnichannel experiences? What does it mean to be data-led, right? And getting the whole organization wrapped around those ideas, that's why you can't move forward.
Yeah.
Because you're going to sit in a room for 6 months arguing the definition of personalization. I guarantee you're not going to get anywhere, right? So it's not about tech. It's not about buying the tech. It's about getting your organization, all on one page, moving forward, creating a culture of innovation, a culture of using digital to create value for customers, and knowing what value really is.
Yeah.
So that to me is where I'd say most organizations are failing, and they need to build a roadmap as much as they have a technical roadmap, which they should write down, by the way.
Yeah.
Most companies don't write down their roadmaps. Unfortunately, they should.
On whiteboards?
Not on whiteboards. Somewhere, right? Some organizational form. But they need to work on a roadmap for technology. They also need to work on a roadmap for organizational change. And have goals. Call out your warts. Call out the things you're not doing well. Talk about how you're going to fix them. Build gap analysis for going from one state to the other. And really have an official and formal way of addressing these changes that need to happen beyond just the technical.
Yeah. Well, this has been a wonderful conversation. Thanks so much, Brendan.
No, thank you. Appreciate the time.